What's going on, Benchwarmers? Welcome back to another episode, and it's a fun-packed episode. We have a lot to go over within the next 30 minutes, so we'll try to keep it nice and compact for you guys. And if you're listening to us, if you're watching us, you're going to see that we're not in the studio today. We're actually doing a Zoom call because we have to get Diego, the Statue versus Josue in here. Also, we start thinking of a nickname for you, so when you guys think of one, let me know so we can start, putting it into the descriptions down below. But
call the
before we get into
that's what the stadium is.
Oh, that's true.
Nah, chill.
Damn. Dyer left the field to take a shit, and your nickname is Dyer. So okay, I'm onto something here.
You're not onto anything.
But before we get into today's episode, I want to thank everybody out there for listening. We really appreciate you guys. Again, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, the listener. So if you want to come on the bench and share your voice, if you want to join this call and share your voice, please let us know. DM us, message us through Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, Benchwarmers FC1. Go to our podcast on all platforms. Anybody want to take that?
Yeah, our podcast on all platforms. You can listen to it on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts by searching Benchwarmers FC.
Thank you, Diego. And email us at benchwarmersfc.com. I know Marco wants me to say that. If not, he'll get mad at me. I think he just texted me as well. Yeah, he did. He just said, make sure you say the email. So we greatly appreciate if you leave a review and a comment on the podcast. So we know what you guys like. We know what you guys hear. And it helps us out to get exposed so we can continue doing what we do, which is talk about footy, the game that we all love. So joining us on the bench today, we have myself, we have Eddie made out of glass, Diego Stacho, and again, Josue. I don't have a nickname for you yet, but we'll come up with one eventually. And if you guys do follow us on Instagram, you saw yesterday we went live and quickly did a quick little, I guess, recap of the transfer date deadline. We'll go over some of that today, but go back to our Instagram and you'll see it there. It's on our story. I'm sorry, on our feed, so you'll see that there. Aside from that, you ready for kickoff, man?
Let's get it.
I don't have a whistle to me, so I'll just... That works. A weekend full of crazy results. Some will wish to forget, but these will forever stay in our history books. But before we get to those crazy results that really did happen on, when was it? I think Sunday, right?
Sunday.
Yeah. Football Sunday.
Yeah, right. We'll talk about the big games that happened on Saturday. First one being Chelsea versus Crystal Palace, 4-0. A result that I was not hoping for because I just picked up Zaha. So I shot myself in the foot there. But let me ask you guys, Chelsea had a rough start. This 4-0 was a pretty convincing game. Mendy made his debut. Havertz showed some signs of why they signed him. Timo Werner still didn't get on the score sheet, didn't open up his Prem account. So there's that. But is this a team that we should start fearing?
No.
No? That's
no.
Why?
Just the inconsistency that they have. I mean, they lost in the penalty shootout to Tottenham in the EFL Cup. Then again, not all the players played in that match, but also it's just Werner not providing for Chelsea. So he's not a threat at all. And yeah, like I said, Chelsea with the inconsistency along with other big club teams that are in there. So no, they're not a factor. Even though it's still early, yes, but at the moment they are not.
Do you guys think Timo Werner is going to take a season for him to kind of start clicking into the Prem, or is it just early on in the season we're going to see why Chelsea signed him come a month, 2 months from now?
Well, if he doesn't get it together before the stadiums open up, then pretty much a flop, right?
He's going to hear more boos than cheers.
Yeah, and you already know he has an inner ear problem, so.
Is that a real thing?
Is
that real?
All right, apparently it's real. They had to sub him off at in Istanbul against Beşiktaş because he couldn't handle it.
So wait, it's too much noise and what, he can't hear something, or
he can't focus.
He can't.
Yeah, like it throws off his balance.
Yeah,
apparently.
Call him a dog. Like dog whistles, how they bother them.
For real, man. I'm about to just go to the same.
I think the same way too, bro. Because if he couldn't step, I think the moment where Werner became a non-factor, like how Dyer's saying, is in that EFL game. Because if this fool didn't want to take the penalty because he had a cramp and he didn't want to step up for his team after being paid so much, let's look at it from both ways. Like, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he knew, like, okay, I'm cramped up. I don't want to ruin the chances for my team. Got it. But to be cramped up early in the season after, like, it wasn't like they went to extra time. They went straight to penalties, no?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. So he couldn't have been overexerted to be like, oh no, I'm cramping up. I can't do it. I can't step up, coach. I think that's the moment where, like, at least for me, like, Werner's not a factor right now. I don't think we should worry about Werner. And also, I've said it before, and I know Eric's brought it up too. 8 penalties this season. Shameless. Chelsea, shameless. No one's calling them Pensy because it's about another team. It's about another player. But I want to bring that up. 2 penalties in this game. I think the fact that Tammy Abraham started fighting for the penalty and Azpilicueta had to come up to him and be like, yo, listen, you need to sit down, little boy, because we got a penalty taker on the team, and literally wrestle the ball out of his hands. I think that shows that Chelsea's just not there yet. They're not. Like, they may have shown up in this match 4-0, 2 penalties included. I count penalties. I don't care what anybody says. You still got to take them. You still got to score them. But that kind of disconnect, and then Werner not stepping up, those are 2 factors for me that kind of show me that, you know what, maybe this was a good result for them, but they're just not there yet.
Do you think there's going to be too much egos for Lampard to handle?
A lot of young egos.
Big money.
Yeah, a lot of young egos.
Yeah, man.
The majority of the team is what, under 25? 26, 25?
Yeah. Y'all seen that meme, the Toy Story meme, where it's like he's dropping Woody. He's like, I don't want to play with you anymore. And it's like, that's all the youth players at Chelsea right now. All Mason, aside from Mason Mount, all those youth players, they're right now they're being written off. And I feel for Tammy too. Like, imagine if you're Tammy and you get Werner coming in after you put that team on your back early last season. I feel disrespected too. I would wrestle for that penalty myself. Like, listen, I'm on this team as well, but I think he might come up against that in the next few weeks. I think that's going to be an interesting problem for us to watch Lampard solve.
Yeah, and we've all I think for the most part, the majority of the Premier League fans actually had Chelsea maybe being top 4 with the signings they had, but I don't know anymore. Again, Havertz hasn't really shown his value yet. Werner, again, hasn't done anything in the Prem. He hasn't opened his account in the Prem yet. Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount, these are the kids. These are the players that are making a difference, the homegrown players. So should this be something that Lampard should start focusing more on? Is like, you know what, let me just not focus too much on our big signings and start developing the team that we had? Because that's one thing he said, I believe, at the end of last season or the beginning of this season, that this isn't an academy club. This is something along those lines where it wasn't about the team players that were already there. Yeah. So you think that's something that he should be focusing on, or is that just I don't know, rum and tide to go into it?
My opinion, I think he should focus on the team that he had that beat Crystal Palace 4-0, because Crystal Palace they were in form, coming out with a couple of wins, couple of goals in the league. So I think what Lampard should do is focus with the team that he provided this past weekend's match. And see if it can move on forward after the international break. Try it the next game. And if it doesn't work, then something is missing. There's something missing. But if it does work, then he actually found the problem. He found like what players he needs, what players needs to be on the bench, and just move on from there.
What player he needs, though, that's I guess what's bothering for a lot of fans. Like, they placed top 4 with no transfer.
Pretty much. Yeah,
they splash money on all these different positions, but it's a new already, season. You know, you're seeing it.
It's a new season. Every season's not the same. You're not going to be. Yeah, they finished top 4 last year, but they struggled to get up there, along with United. The only teams that were up there was Liverpool and Manchester City. All the other big 6 teams, they struggled last year to get into the top 4, and it looks like Chelsea is going to struggle again, unless Lampard can finally decide what players should be his starting 11 and what players should be on the bench, and basically what players need to face what team and formation.
Yeah, but he has to figure it out soon, because Christmas is around the corner. If he doesn't figure it out soon, then he's still not going to know a starting 11.
Well, it's only what was it? This was the 4th week. So
game week 4.
If he doesn't have it figured out before Christmas, then he's gone. He's sacked. If he doesn't have it figured out before game week, I would say 8 to 10, he's gone. Because
I don't know about sacked.
I don't think he's gonna get sacked,
I
man.
don't
As
think
much
he's
as I
gonna
wish,
sack, bro.
my boy is secure, bro. He got the seatbelt on. They're giving him drinks. You know, when you're in first class on the flight, bro, they're bringing him little drinks and stuff. They're bringing him shooters. I mean, it's comfy.
Okay,
Yeah.
but if not sacked, there's definitely going to be speculation of him being sacked.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I mean,
100%.
like if anything, he'll bring in a different team than what he has right now, like a better, like more.
Listen,
like,
he
more
got that. He
experience
got
and
that
stuff.
keeper problem solved, man. He got that
Yeah, he
keeper
definitely-
problem. That
definitely.
baby.
I was gonna bring that up.
Well,
I
yeah.
was gonna bring that up. Mendy
Yeah.
made his debut. Kepa, I was watching actually an interview before we got on this call, and he was just pretty much, he was really confident as far as the team selection. He's like, you know what, Chelsea had backed me, Spain backed me. I worked with great managers, so it feels like he's actually starting to compete for that starting position. I just don't think he's gonna, ever start again for Chelsea because he sucks.
Well, let me
Kepa,
let me just correct you. Mendy made his debut against Tottenham, and he lost.
Oh, that's
So-
right. Yeah, sorry.
Prem,
Penalties. I mean, yeah.
don't matter. A loss is a loss.
No, you're right. It is a loss, but you can't. If you would have put Kepa in that game, they probably would have lost before the 90 minutes.
And we probably would have scored.
Word.
Yeah.
Yo,
Word.
they would have lost coming out the team bus. Like, come on.
Yeah, exactly. It was already over.
Well, what
That-
else?
that
What else
leads-
you got for us, Eric?
That leaves Chelsea 4-0 beat Crystal Palace. The next game we have here, this one was more of a tactical showdown. This was more of a coach-to-coach vibe, not rivalry, but one that we've all been wanted to see, which was Leeds United versus Manchester City. First question, man. Are Leeds the real deal?
I think Leeds will be like Sheffield was last season. I'm gonna leave it at
Wait,
that.
they placed what, top 10,
They
right?
placed
last
top
season?
10.
top eight,
Yeah.
top eight, top 9, around there.
Okay.
Leeds
Okay.
have been showing that they can keep up with the big teams. They have been providing goals, incredible matches, and that draw against Man City definitely. I mean, they lost to Liverpool. They tied to Manchester City. We still have to see how can they perform against the other top 6 teams.
Yeah.
That's why I say they're like Sheffield from last year. Because if they beat Man City, then I'm gonna put them above Sheffield from last year.
But you say they lost to Liverpool, Eddie. You saw that game. It wasn't a convincing win from Liverpool. Like, it was, that game could have gone either way.
Yep, definitely. The show was
So
never
how do you
wrecking
feel?
that.
Yeah, how do you feel about Leeds? Like, you saw what they did against Liverpool. You guys still won that game, of course, but they scored what was 4-3 the final result, right? Against you guys? They tied Man City.
They're playing amazing. The only fear I have is that they're gonna gas out like by March. They're just gonna fall apart.
That's a while from now.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, by then they'll be. I'm pretty sure not gonna get relegated. So, and then from there, just build on. Because that style of play they have, you can't sustain that for an entire season, man.
Yeah, I think that's fair from
especially
Eddie.
with not having a bench. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's fair from Eddie because however Bielsa plays is very. We've watched it. It's very high press, super high action, a lot of physicality, a lot of stamina required, and these guys got results against 2 big teams. Like now, Bielsa doesn't have to worry about that. He's like, all right, I was looking at 2 L's, but at least I got a point out of these 2 squads that were the top 2 last season. I mean, I bet my guys sitting pretty. The only thing that worries me though, which is their loss in between. And if I'm not mistaken, the win that they struggled for against Sheffield.
Fulham. Was Sheffield or Fulham? Oh, yeah, never mind.
No, it was Sheffield. It was like a last minute goal, deserved. Absolutely, I'm not taking anything away, but I'm saying if they look so like you can see them slowing down. Like they look fantastic against Liverpool, coming out 3 goals. They're players like little bees all over the pitch. And then it took them into like maybe the 85th or 87th minute, if I'm not mistaken, against the Sheffield that's been leaking goals ever since Dean Henderson left. I agree with Eddie a lot. We got to see if they can keep this up for the majority of the season, and then I would expect burnout. I really do, and then hopefully burnout comes for them once they're mathematically safe, then they can just coast.
Yeah. One player that really stood out this game was their new signing, Rodrigo. He came on. I believe he was the one that got the goal. He was a game changer for that game. But one question I have for you guys: has Pep been exposed, or was this too early in the season for them. They were one game behind because they missed the opening week. But has he been exposed, or is this again a little too early for them?
It's early. Sterling's not hitting on all cylinders, and I mean,
Yeah, they don't have their starting strikers.
But that's still not an excuse because you still have De Bruyne and Sterling. But,
I mean, yeah, they splash cash wherever they want. They want to they got a new center back and Ruben Diaz, and still concede. I don't know, man. I feel like
to an Ederson error.
Man City haven't started strong.
It was a very rare Ederson error, though. Like it was a very rare Ederson mistake. Like I know Ederson can be wild, but Rodrigo definitely benefited from Ederson kind of losing his head there. And I think the same. I think it's a bit early, and I think like I've made the point before where a lot of the teams that started the season without preseason, without those very crucial 2 or 3 games against whoever it may be, even a scrimmage against their own under 23s or whatever, it's affected them a lot. I definitely them missing Aguero is a lot more, I guess, heavier on them than they expected. But losing Jesus at the same time and then putting all that on Sterling and De Bruyne, I guess we could look at it as kind of like, all right, it's a falter, but I would consider it early. I don't think that City are going to be struggling for the majority of the season. I don't think anyone would think that. So that's my take on it. I think it's just like a real early start. They're just waking up. They're not helped by the absences on their team, and then they tied to Leeds. If they had lost, I think that would have been a bit more damning, especially considering the fact that he, like you said, he just splashed gas on the defense yet again. I think it's like over 500 mil or something like that.
Crazy amount,
like 590 or something. I don't know.
Yeah. This is like a completely off topic question. I don't want to get into it right now, but I just want to kind of plant the seed in your head so for the future episodes. And this is Pep. This is strictly Pep. Is he a good coach, or is he just a coach that can just get really good players and put them together on the pitch? Because he's not really developing players. If somebody does wrong, he just kicks them out and gets somebody else in. I don't want you to answer that now. I want to plant that seed in your head. For anybody listening out there as well, let us know what you guys think. But I want you guys to kind of get that thoughts going on. So in future episodes, you can kind of tackle that. And Marco, I know you're listening, so I want to hear your thoughts on that too in the future. But yeah, Man City lost to Leicester. They drew this game. They have Arsenal coming back from international break so we'll see how that game goes. But now I kind of want to get into the blockbusters of the weekend. And Eddie, I'm gonna start off with you because we have a Spurs fan and a United fan here, so they can kind of go at it. You, on the other hand, have nowhere to go at it again, so lucky you. But Aston Villa 7, Liverpool 2.
Dude, it was so bad.
I want to get your initial thoughts on this game, man, because I was watching it with Edgar, and I did not know what to expect. It was just crazy. It felt weird. It wasn't like a regular game. It just felt like it was just weird. I can't describe it. I don't know. What were your thoughts on the game?
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
No, it definitely was weird. Like, we weren't connecting on passes. Everybody looked disjointed. Allison is one of the captains, so not having him back there hurts our defense immensely because we don't trust Adrian. I don't think anybody on the team really trusts him or anything.
Fair enough. Yeah, so no Mane, no Thiago due to COVID-19, so we wish them to get better soon. But Alisson is out for 6 weeks due to injury. I think he got in training, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, the only thing that scares me right now is that apparently there is a COVID outbreak in our squad because there's another player out too. So
another one?
Yeah, Shaqiri went down with COVID.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, this might be an issue.
Just to kind of I don't want to cast a dark shadow over your team right now, but you guys are facing Everton, Man City, and Leicester coming back from international break. No Adrian. By the sounds of it, you're not going to have some players in the bench that kind of help you out, and Shaqiri, maybe others if there are, if there is an outbreak. Are you worried?
No, because I think we're just going to go back to season 2 of club. We're just going to score more goals than you. Pretty much. There's no way we're not going to lead goals. So at this point, it's just like, fuck it. Let's try to score more goals than them at this point until we get Alisson back.
Yeah.
Stability.
I think it's crucial that Mane comes back, though, because without Mane, you saw that Salah can't really do it on his own, which, I mean...
No, Salah had an amazing game. He had
an amazing game.
By himself. He just can't do it by himself.
He can't do it by himself. Exactly. So, credit to him. He did what he had to do. But Watkins on Aston Villa, hat-trick.
Hat-trick destroyed us.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck is this guy? He came from Brentford, if I'm not mistaken.
He was their record signing, I believe.
Yes, he is.
Oh,
Yeah.
what, $1?
Nah.
Bro,
Like,
I
I've never heard of this guy before.
I think it's 43 million, something like that.
Something like that,
Jeez.
That number just comes up to mind.
Dang.
Well,
He was worth
he
more
just
than Ericsson. Christian
well,
Eriksen when Inter bought him.
he literally paid for his fee in that one game. We're getting a
yeah,
hat trick against
pretty
Liverpool.
much.
3 points.
And he
And-
almost had a fourth hitting the crossbar.
Yeah. Ross Barkley came into that game. Yeah, alone from Chelsea. He scored. I think he got a goal as well. Grealish, beautiful start on the side from Adrian. When Grealish scored that goal, you could see the lack in skill and experience that Adrian has. The way he just slotted it past him was just like, I know what you're gonna do.
Yeah,
Predictable.
he just looked at it and shit. Like, it was crazy. And like, luck has to play at some point because
three deflected goals.
3 deflected goals. At that point, I just put my head down. I'm like, yeah, this is not a night.
Yeah. It was a crazy game to watch. I was dumbfounded when that happened. But
It was so crazy.
yeah.
I was so upset that I ended up got obliterated that night and paid for it on Monday. So
Now I know you. This isn't what you think this season will look for you guys, but Diego, real quick before we get into the next game. Is this a one-off result, or are we starting to see some flaws in Liverpool? Do you think?
I think we were seeing some flaws in Liverpool's defense from the first game of the season.
Yeah.
With that who was it? Leeds? Yeah, right.
please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even though they won the game, still he conceded 3 goals. I mean, champion of the EPL versus champion of the second division, but to let 3 goals in from a team that hasn't been in the Premier League since 2004, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Liverpool is kind of dying down a little bit.
I mean,
Championship
they said the
hangover?
same thing. Say the same thing last year when we won 4-3 to Norwich, and they ended up beating Man City the following week. So you can't really say that.
True. I mean, it's still early on, but I mean,
It's a prem.
you got to find the gaps in the back line. Everywhere else, I feel like Liverpool's fine, but the back, Van Dijk is not the Van Dijk that we saw that was nominated for Ballon d'Or.
No,
Gomez,
it's not. But I think Gomez is just not his partner, bro.
Gotta call back.
It's telling.
Got to put in Matip. I feel like Matip is the guy you need right there.
He's injured, and supposedly he might have COVID too. So
Oh Jesus, Diego.
You know what? Just put your damn team in a hospital. Go ahead.
at this point,
I think there's some cracks, man, and I say this with whatever sliver of respect I have for the champions last season. We saw that Van Dijk mistake in those first matches, and I think there is definitely something's off. Something's off with how the players are connecting. They reinforced their squad, I think, very lightweight. They definitely didn't spend like a City or even in Everton. They didn't make acquirements like recruitments like Spurs. They don't have like 5 or 6 players on their roster. So that could just be the case. You know, some of the things that were papered over last season because, you know, they had a motive, they had a clear goal, they were going for the trophy, they were focused. They were just, you know, I guess the fire in their belly was there from the season prior where they just missed out, and then now there's a lot of pressure on them. So this is a different pressure that Liverpool players have not had before. You're the champions. You have to be the prime example for the league. Now you got to step up every single game. I think that's a very different pressure than last season where they're like, okay, we're in the driver's seat. And then they look behind them, 12 points ahead, 16 points ahead, 20 points ahead. You can kind of coast at that point. Although I'm not saying that they let their foot off the gas because they ended strong still anyway. But yeah, I think there are some cracks starting to show, and we're seeing that. We saw that with this ridiculous scoreline, and you would never think that it was something like that. I will say though, for what it's worth, I think the last minute switch to Adrian. Yes, they went with Adrian for a few games as well already, and he looked good. Like he adapted well, but I think it was like that was different because it was planned. It's like, oh, in the middle of the week, Alisson's not going to play. Listen, Adrian, you got to step up. This is your chance. You want to be part of the first team. And then now suddenly you get Alisson injured in a warm up. It's like, oh shit, well, throw your gloves on. I know you got to be prepared, But you saw some of those replays. Like my man was lost in the sauce.
It was bad, man.
He looked like a pro club's goalie, man. Like he was he was all out of position. And there's that one replay where like they cross the ball in, the Villa attacker just smashes the ball against the crossbar, and Adrian's like out on the right side of his box. Like he's nowhere to be found on that shot. So that's just the 2 points I have to make. I think the pressure on them is starting to build, and it's showing. And definitely the last minute switch to Adrian, like it can't be seen as a whole excuse, because you still have the world's best defender in front of you. You still have Robertson and Trent there. But I think it's fair to ask some questions of them this season. I think it is.
So it seems like Liverpool is so sobering up from the championship hangover. Eddie, what's up?
No, I was just gonna go back to his point about us feeling the pressure and stuff, and that's the reason why I brought in Thiago, because he's won so many trophies and you know how to do it. Unfortunately, he's not on the pitch at the moment, so that kind of like brings it down.
For any non-Liverpool fan, take this result with a grain of salt, because again, Thiago was not playing, neither was Mane. If they played, and Alisson, I mean, if they played, this result could have gone completely different. We don't know, but take this result with a grain of salt. Now, another one, I don't know if you're gonna, Diego, I don't know if you want this result with a grain of salt, but Manchester United 6-1. Quick question for both of you, Dyer, Josue, and Diego. Did this result reflect the team performance?
I think it did.
Either one of you.
I think it did. Like, and I'll answer first, because probably, definitely Josue is gonna have a lot of positives, maybe a few nitpicking things to say about his team, but I think it just showed. I think it showed how quickly the team was demoralized after things didn't go their way. And I can't hold up the red card as a crutch. Like, I can't use it as an excuse. I could use it as a factor. Definitely, I would count it as a factor to the players' body language looking like they didn't even want to finish the game. And there's apparently rumors that Bruno got into a bust up with Maguire in the dressing room at halftime. That's the reason why he was subbed out.
Shit.
And it looked like, you know what, if there was that rift in between the players, like I can see them losing their mind, like losing their concentration, and then they got to hold six for it, like they got to concede. So,
quick question regarding Bruno. I wasn't worried about the bust up, but didn't he have a bust up last season with, I believe, Lindelof on the pitch?
Yeah. He had the same. He called out Lindelof for a mistake that he made, and it was a clear mistake that Lindelof had made. And this is just the kind of person that Bruno is. He's outspoken. Some people have even been crazy in saying that, oh yeah, give him the armband just because he can like tear into players whenever they make mistakes. Like, he's not shy to go after his own teammates whenever they make an error. And even though I think that's a redeemable quality, I think it's a bit rushed to be like, oh yeah, give him the captain's armband, because he just got there. I think it doesn't show well for a player that just showed up a few months ago. To give him the captain's armband.
I just think that like Bruno Fernandes knows his quality, and he's just upset when other players don't live up to their expectations.
He's not afraid.
Yeah,
he's not afraid to get in their faces at all.
Yeah,
Dyer, I'll say, how do you see this Spurs performance? Is this like a reflection of what's to come this entire season, or was just because you faced a United who's kind of struggling at the moment?
A little bit of both. I mean, before the red card, I mean, yeah, like Diego said, like it was a factor in the game for United players. But I'm still not fully convinced that Tottenham could be up there to what Harry Redknapp said, to win the league. Definitely.
I saw that. Shut the fuck up, bro.
I mean, like, I appreciate his enthusiasm, his optimism, and all that kind of stuff. But to win the league like that, no. Yes, we do have the quality, we do have the players, and we do have the bench to fill in the gaps in case like one of our starting players does get injured. But this was a team that we faced, United, at Old Trafford, and it is a struggling United team. So I'm not fully convinced just because we demolished them 6-1. I'm not fully convinced that Tottenham would win the league. But definitely my hopes of them finishing top 4 is a lot greater than what it was in the starting of the season. I remember I picked Liverpool to finish first, United second, Chelsea third, and City fourth. But now I feel like, Spurs could be up there. But we just have to wait to see. We have a couple of really good fixtures coming up, and the possibility of them being in the top four, even top two, is there. But I'm not fully convinced to answer your question, not yet.
I mean, to your credit, top four, top two is up for anybody at this point.
Ask me again after week 10.
Respect. I'll give you that. But I think I know what you're both gonna say. But Lamela, did he deserve the red card as well, or was it just Martial for reacting the way he did?
Coming from a Spurs standpoint, I do believe Lamela should have gotten a red card. If Martial got a yellow, Lamela should have gotten a yellow. If Martial didn't get anything, Lamela shouldn't get anything. I feel like it should have been an equal and fair decision by the referee, but it was not. So that's my opinion, and I probably can speak the same for many others.
Diego?
I think the same. And there's one clear thing that I was noticing. Everyone who described the incident involving Martial used the word retaliation. Like, they were all very clear on the fact that he hit back because he was hit first. The other thing is that when we were younger, when we were playing in high school, when other people were playing, like, in their with their traveling clubs or whatever, you'd get your coaches to tell you never retaliate because whoever hits last gets caught. That's the thing. That was advice that was given before VAR. VAR is there to catch that kind of kid, like, playground stuff. Like, honestly, if you're gonna act up like little shits on the field, we have the cameras and we have a whole room full of referees that are watching those cameras to catch you both, period. And so I was a bit disappointed how they did review it. Martial was standing at the corner flag with Son. He was kind of, complaining about it. I forgot the ref's name already. Anthony Taylor was like, pointing to his ear, like they're reviewing this, and then nothing happened. Lamela walked away scot-free. I think, obviously, I'm going to, like, as the team now was wronged, even if I was on the opposite end, I would have liked to see both players get equal punishment, because that's what the system is there for. You have to treat them equally. Ollie said it as well in his post-match. He did give credit to Martial for not flopping over. So I'm going to recognize that too. I think that deserves some merit in a player, that if he gets, like, smacked, or if he gets touched, or, if someone's fingers grazes his cheek or whatever, he's not going to go to ground. I think that should be recognized. But again, like others were saying, he was smart not to go down. He was dumb enough to hit back. And I'm just saying, like, if he got the red, so did Lamela.
All right, fair enough. Anybody out there who thinks differently, let us know. Let us know again, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Benchwarmers FC1, or let us know in the comments below. Aside from that, Diego, one last question for you. How much longer do you think Ollie's going to be at the wheel for?
I don't think he's going to be there longer, man. And we were talking about it today in the chat, bros. Wow. Like time on the bench right now, I don't think. And here's the thing. I'll try to keep it short. I don't think it's something that's his fault. I think, fair enough. I think, to be very real, for the board to have such a shit transfer window and then turn around and try to blame it on the manager, I think that's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous for the upper management to have such a garbage ending to the window and fanatically sign 4 players on deadline day that don't solve any of the problems that you just showed the day before.
It was desperate signings.
Yeah, desperate, it was panic buys. It was panic buys, and I'm kind of like dipping my toe a little bit into the transfer thing. But there was already rumors today that they're looking at Pochettino to come replace him. And I think that makes a lot of sense, because what was it? I think it was like maybe 9 or 10 players that are under the age of 21 have been signed for United. If you look at the long-term plan, that looks fantastic. But again, those players aren't going to see the pitch for 4 or 5 years. And do you really expect Solskjaer to be there for 4 or 5 years? I think that they're doing that on purpose. Whoever's going to come here next, whoever's going to show up here after Solskjaer, he's going to be the one to reap the rewards for, such young recruitment. And who do you give the guy that's managing the club right now? A 33-year-old player past his prime. No offense to Cavani, I still have hope in Cavani bringing up something to the club, but I think the players that they sign right now they're kind of damning. As much as I love Solskjaer, as much as I believe in what he's trying to do at the club, as much as I want him to succeed, it's very different if a board is focused on commercial success and they don't see him like that. They don't see him as a moneymaker. So adios, they're gonna let him go. It's not gonna matter to them. And to me, it's honestly, it's sad and it's almost like maddening because then it becomes a revolving door that United have been since 2013. A manager in, they qualify, spend big. Once they're in Champions League, they don't back him, then they sack. And then they've done that. They've done that with the past 4 managers, and it's like, what can we do as fans now? Like, I almost feel powerless talking about it because it's like, what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna do anything. If they've already made up their mind, the Solskjaer is out, then that's it. I think for me, he's at the wheel. I believed in him since day one. I'm not gonna shy away from that. As many times as people want to expose him, like banner him, whatever. Like, I get that he held 6 because I think some of the attempts that he made to keep pressing late in the game opened us up to be attacked more, and we saw that with Aria getting in so deep. We saw that with Reguilon also getting in deep behind our line. Listen, I think it's just something that they have to learn from. But the board definitely already has their mind made up, I think.
Yeah, fair to you, man. We'll see what happens. This season has been nothing but entertaining, both on and off the pitch. So
insanity.
We'll see insanity, bro. Insanity. These results.
Yeah, I just want to know why is Josue dressed up like the celebrities are trying to avoid the paparazzi, man. Like he got the cap on. He looking like he's trying to hide. Like I should be wearing that right now. I don't know why my man is trying to.
well, he's hiding.
You and Eddie should be hiding right now.
No, I'm never hiding. We here, bro. Eddie and I.
We got the trophy. We got the trophy, baby.
I'll stay quiet on that.
Never hide. Never hide.
Some other major results from the weekend. Leicester losing to West Ham. West Ham, who have had a rough start but quickly bounced back. They lost 3-0. Everton, again, first place right now. The team to watch, in my opinion. Beat Brighton 4-2. Arsenal barely won against Sheffield United. To your point, I think Diego was saying earlier, Sheffield are a team that's leaking goals. So Arsenal, the fact that they already got that win was a little worrisome, but they got the deal done. Aside from that, man, that's the big games of the weekend. Any final thoughts? Anything on the transfer deadline that was yesterday? And I think we can end it there.
Just one question to Diego. You said the transfers did not solve any problems. Where are the problems, do you think?
I think going into this window, everybody knew that United's team needed a right winger, a starting right winger, a defensive mid, and a center back. That's it. And they need a starting right winger, a defensive mid, and a center back. Right now,
center back
Matic
for Maguire?
Is the only...
A center back to pair up with Maguire or replace Maguire?
I think to pair up. A lot of people were saying that to even replace him. However, Oli was planning to do it, and Evra was completely... I guess justified in his comments to just drop him and test it out to drop him. They'll find a way to test that out. But I think they just needed to find someone to be able to complement. Like they needed to find the pairing to complement each other. And there were players there. There were players that were out there.
Koulibaly's another year older, man. So he might be out the question now.
He was supposed to go to United. And he was a heavily so was Gabriel. Like, these guys were heavily linked to United. And like Diego, to his point, the board isn't backing up Oli.
And I told you this. I was gonna say I told you this before, Diego. Like that Maguire is the captain, but the rest of the team, you don't have any leaders. Except Fernandes, of course. To be honest, if I was a United fan, and for all the United fans, I would put Fernandes as your captain. I would have nah. Rashford, I feel like he's a little too quiet on the pitch. You want someone that's not afraid to talk to the players. You want someone that's actually open up, where it is needed to fill in the gaps and how to make the team work. And I feel like Fernandes could do that.
Wait a minute. Isn't your captain Harry Kane?
No, our captain is Hugo Lloris.
I was about to say, because I'm not gonna understand what the fuck that guy's saying, first of all. But
get that right. I don't even know what the fuck he's saying, but he's helping.
Yeah, man. That's what I think, man. Because Matic is old. He's the only true defensive midfielder that's there. Everyone else is kind of like a center mid. They go forward, they go sideways. Someone that does the dirty work and puts the cutting passes. That's only Matic. And then obviously the right wing, like definitely, like it's very clear. Those are three. Even you guys can see it. Those are three positions that if United had filled up, if they had addressed, they would look like a much stronger team. Instead, they got a temporary center forward. They got an 18-year-old that's not even going to show up until January. They got another kid that's probably not going to feature for the team until later. And then maybe Alex Telles is able to replace Shaw after that ridiculous performance.
That was a good signing.
So we have to see how he does. And
so can you name 3 players for 2021?
I think Sancho's out of the question, man. I think either we're going to get priced out or someone's going to be smart enough to swoop in for that player early. He could stay at Dortmund long term as well. Like they were firm on that. I think they made United look like the management team and the negotiators, whatever you want to call it, they made them look like clowns. I was hoping that they would have gone for Upamecano from Leipzig. I think that kid is young enough to be able to do something and to grow into a team. And then for the defensive mids, honestly, like I'm surprised nobody challenged Arsenal for Thomas Partey. I really am. And a lot of the commentators were saying like, this is so weird how no other clubs are trying to challenge for a player that has caliber, that can solve a lot of problems in the midfield and kind of shore it up. But again, if Arsenal were the only ones willing to pay, they deserve to get a player like that. Now we just have to see if he's able to combine with the team. So
yeah, if Thomas went to United, bro, I would definitely be scared of you guys 100%.
Because honestly, if Klopp was to see Gomez not working out and then move for being a back, I think we would have been in for him too.
Yeah.
On that note, thank you for nobody else picking him up. He is an Arsenal man. I'm going to have a party tonight like I did last night. But with that being said, I think that wraps up today's episode. We went a little bit. I see you want to say something real quick.
Breaking news, Partey injured in training today.
Oh, my God, bro.
This guy.
Okay. You're talking about Bale? You're talking about Bale?
First of all,
imagine. Bale came in injured, okay? So
exactly.
It's like 3 in the morning out there, bro.
Don't matter. You broke while getting out of bed, going to the bathroom, or getting that glass of milk.
With that being said, I think it's safe to end it here. Sorry, we went over our time. Again, there was just too much to talk about. You just can't keep this in 30 minutes, with the results that happen. It was an entertaining weekend. Unfortunately, there's international break, but that does not mean the footy stops and does not mean that the podcast is going to stop either. We will have more episodes for you guys. Mexico, waving the flag. Aside from that, thank you guys for joining. We're going to end it here. We are the Benchwarmers, the bench with the voice. With a bench. On this case, the camera is always warm. Peace.
Peace, guys.
Peace.
Later.